don't go in the rest of the days, man. I guess Mike Mentzer might think that that's a good idea. One workout and then 4 days of rest. I'm not so convinced.
Sam Sulek is saying that he's not really convinced by it, but there are people within bodybuilding, IFBB pros, who, based on what they've done within bodybuilding, you should be a little bit convinced that Mike Mentzer was on to something. What's good? It's Khalil Jamar. Hope that all is well with you guys. If this is your first time on my channel, welcome. If this is not your first time on my channel, welcome back. Now, the subject of today's video is going to be Sam Sulek, who has a rising name in the fitness community, agrees with Mike Mentzer's philosophy, and it seems like he briefly criticizes Mike Mentzer's philosophy when it comes to rest days. Now, to give you guys some context before I play the clip, Mike Mentzer is a legendary bodybuilder who had a completely different philosophy than most people when it came to working out. If you guys do want to know more about his philosophy, I've made a couple of videos, and I'll leave those videos in the description so you guys can get the chance to watch those. But part of Mike Mentzer's philosophy was this idea of taking more days to recover. So for example, he maybe would suggest something along the lines of working out 3 days a week and then taking 4 days off to recover. And in the TikTok, it seems that Sam Sulek does disagree with this type of philosophy.
How often do you need a rest week? How often are you taking significant periods off of the gym? That's most certainly gonna affect your progress. Consistency, #1 factor. Let's say you do lift maybe twice a week and you got the craziest workout ever. Then you don't go in the rest of the days, man. I guess Mike Mentzer might think that that's a good idea. One workout and then 4 days of rest. I'm not so convinced.
In this TikTok, I do think that there were some things that Sam Sulek was right about. There were some things that I think he wasn't so right about, and he wasn't accurate in his opinion. And one of the first questions he asked is, how much significant time are you taking away from the gym? And this is a legitimate question to ask ourselves. I ask this question of myself from time to time, because you do want to make sure that you're getting into the gym and you're pushing your body enough that it grows. If you're going to the gym one day and let's say you do a quick chest workout and then you take 3 days off and then you do a leg day, in my opinion, you did waste 3 days, because you could do a chest day and then come into the gym the next day, work on legs, and that, even because you're working on legs that day, it kind of counts as a recovery day for your chest. Even if it is a day where you're not supposed to be lifting or you're not supposed to be going, super hard or going super intense, you don't have to be at home resting on the couch to recover. You can go to the gym. You could have an active recovery day where you work on mobility, you work on flexibility. You can get in there and work on the treadmill for a little bit, do some light cardio. Again, there's other ways to recover as opposed to just taking a complete day or complete days off from the gym. Sam Sulek in the TikTok as well does say consistency is the #1 factor. If you do lift 2 days a week, then you don't go in the rest of the days. He says that that's a philosophy that maybe Mike Mentzer would agree with. And consistency is the #1 factor. If someone is going to the gym 2 days a week and then taking 5 days off and they see progress in that type of training style, and let's say that they follow that training style for a span of 6 months and they see legitimate progress, they were still consistent. That's still consistency. They're just consistent with another training style. I do think that Sulek is trying to point out here that there is negative effects to not being in the gym consistently. Now, let's say that you're somebody who's following Mike Mentzer's philosophy. Let's say you work out 2 days out of the week and then take 5 days off. Those 2 days that you go into the gym have to be so hard that you almost earn those 5 days off. And most of the time, most people aren't going to be able to push themselves to that level, especially if they're a beginner getting into the gym and they're just learning about working out, who I think that's the audience that Sam Sulek is talking to in this TikTok. I don't think he's talking to people who are experienced and understand the philosophy of Mike Mentzer. I think he's trying to help people avoid not being consistent in the gym. He also says that this is something Mike Mentzer would agree with, and I don't actually know if that's true. I don't know if Mike Mentzer would agree with working out 2 days a week and then taking 5 days off, because as far as I know, Mike Mentzer still went to the gym 3 days a week, and he had 3 very intense workouts a week, and he wasn't taking, or at least the way I understand it, it didn't look like he was taking significant time off the gym. If you go to the gym 3 days a week, that means you're recovering, or you're resting every other day. And after an extremely intense workout, 1 day of recovery could be beneficial. I mentioned this a little bit earlier as well. If you are looking to put on muscle like a bodybuilder, or even a powerlifter, or you're looking to put on serious size and you're not that experienced of a person, you haven't been going to the gym for years, you do want to be cognizant of the amount of days that you're taking off from the gym. But you do want to be careful as well, because I've seen this happen to a lot of people who are beginning out into the gym. You do want to be careful of overtraining. You don't want to be going so hard in the gym that you put yourself in a position where you may injure yourself. So I'm not going to say it's a thin line or a tightrope you have to walk. You just have to be cognizant of it and make sure that you have an equal balance between the amount of work that you're putting into the gym, and you want to make sure that you are recovering properly as well, so you can keep going into the gym and keep progressing. He's not really convinced with Mike Mentzer's philosophy. He seems to disagree with it, which is fair. There are some things about Mike Mentzer's philosophy that is a little bit questionable, especially when you're talking about how much rest you should be taking. In Mike Mentzer's philosophy, there are some things that are, I guess you could say, worthy of being criticized. What I will say though is you have bodybuilders like Rusty Jeffers, who I just made a video on, Jay Cutler, I think even Dorian Yates, who believe in Mike Mentzer's philosophy and believe it works, and they have seen extreme success when it comes to bodybuilding. So I know that Sam Sulek is saying that he's not really convinced by it, but there are people within bodybuilding, IFBB pros, who, based on what they've done within bodybuilding, you should be a little bit convinced that Mike Mentzer was on to something. But guys, that is the end of the video. Tell me what you guys think about this TikTok. Do you agree with what Sam Sulek is saying? Do you not agree? Or do you not agree with what I'm saying? Let me know in the comment section. As always, guys, thank you for watching. Make sure that you do like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys later.